Welcome, fellow Dexter Theorists. Today we ask, what if Trinity Killer was Dexter's dark mirror? Ever stare into a mirror so long that, for just a second, you wonder if it's staring back? That's the creeping thought behind today's scenario. What if Arthur Mitchell, the Trinity Killer, was never really a separate person? What if everything we witnessed was just Dexter's hidden alter ego? A split personality that spilled out, Fight Club style, to wreak havoc in ways he could never consciously allow himself. To understand how Dexter's mind could fracture into two separate identities, we need to revisit the foundation of his trauma. Dexter was born in blood. He witnessed his mother's brutal murder as a toddler, and that singular moment shaped his entire existence. According to Harry's code, Dexter learned to channel his darkness onto criminals who slipped through the legal system. But what if that single system wasn't enough to tame the hurricane inside him? We know Dexter grew up with constant need for control. He regulated his emotions, measured every word, and carefully curated how others perceived him. This obsessive desire to hide might have led to a psychological rift, a compartment he locked away in his mind. Over time, that compartment might have grown bigger and darker, forming into a second persona, Arthur Mitchell, a man every bit traumatized as Dexter. But you might ask, why Trinity? Why that name? Why those specific kills? Imagine Dexter's unstoppable subconscious rummaging around for some horrifying blueprint. An older man with a full family, a father figure persona who kills in cycles. Perhaps Dexter's psyche latched onto the concept of threes, the mother, the father, the child, and twisted it into an entire murder cycle. The same way that Tyler Durden in Fight Club was an avatar for the narrator's repressed aggression, Arthur could be Dexter's repressed guilt, anger, and darkest impulses, manifested externally. In the actual Season 4, there's a moment where Dexter stands up in front of Arthur's church group, fascinated by how this apparently gentle husband and father could possibly hide such monstrosity. But if Trinity never really existed, that entire scene transforms. Those glimpses of Arthur leading a church project might have been Dexter's own do-gooder illusions, or even illusions of how Dexter wanted to appear on the outside world. That begs a question. Why would Dexter's imagination create a family for Trinity? Because that's the life Dexter yearned for. Rita, the kids, the house in the suburbs, and also the life that terrified him. On one hand, Dexter wanted normalcy. On the other, he knew any normal life was built on a foundation of lies. Trinity's family could represent Dexter's deepest anxieties, a father who abuses his children, a facade of domestic tranquility that's rotted at its core. If you look at the show carefully, Dexter is always tailing Trinity or talking to him in these private one-on-one scenarios. But we rarely see Trinity interact extensively with the rest of Miami Metro. Sure, we get scenes from John Lithgow's character engaging the Mitchell family, but what if that's all from Dexter's perspective, something his mind conjured to fill the blanks? One of the creepiest aspects of Season 4 is how Dexter sees Trinity as a mentor figure, even calling him a husband, a father. He's like me. Now, if Trinity is actually Dexter's alter ego, that entire line becomes literal. He is me. Think of every moment Dexter tries to learn from Arthur Mitchell about family life, the road trips, the scenes in that abandoned building site, and all those times Dexter stands off to the side, observing Trinity's methodical cruelty. If we reinterpret those scenes as Dexter's internal monologue, it could be Dexter examining the worst version of himself. He's working through the question, can I keep a family while indulging my murderous impulses? Picture it. We all start believing Trinity goes after three victims, sister, mother, father, until the show rips the rug from under us and reveals a hidden fourth victim, the child, buried alive. That's when everything gets truly disturbing. Now, imagine each one of those victims isn't just Arthur's twisted ritual, but the darkest corners of Dexter's mind laid bare. Let's walk through each role. The sister in Trinity's pattern, Dexter has Deb, the only true family bond he acknowledges. If Trinity is just his alter ego, then this part of him can't stop worrying he'll hurt the person he loves most. Next is Mother, a heartbreaking echo of Dexter's own origin story. His own mother butchered right in front of him, his world literally stained in blood. Then there's Father, which instantly brings Harry to mind. Harry's code is supposed to keep Dexter's urges in check, but what if deep down he resents those rules so much that he conjures this separate persona to lash out against it? Finally, the child. Trinity's cycle always ends with a child buried alive, and it's possibly the biggest gut punch of all. In the real show, this moment cements how monstrous Arthur truly is. But if it's really Dexter, he's punishing the innocent little boy he used to be, the one left in a shipping container, drenched in blood, traumatized for life. Suddenly, every kill in this 4-part cycle turns into a twisted reenactment of Dexter's most painful memories. In the actual Season 4, learning about that 4th victim is like discovering a secret level of horror. But in our Fight Club spin, it's a window into just how broken Dexter's psyche is. Each murder isn't some external killer's signature. It's Dexter reliving that shipping container nightmare again and again, helpless to break the cycle. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you for a small favor. If you like this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 99% of you watch the videos without subscribing. Imagine what we could accomplish if everyone subscribed. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, is it done? Great. Thank you so much. Now, we hit that moment everyone remembers from Season 4, Rita's death in the bathtub. It's the scene that left fans speechless, proof that Arthur Mitchell was Dexter's most devastating foe. Except, in this Fight Club scenario, Dexter and Arthur are the same person, which means Dexter murdered the very woman he wanted to protect. It sounds unthinkable at first, but it's exactly what would happen if his split personality took over. Picture it like Tyler Durden in Fight Club. Certain nights are just a blackout for Dexter, moments when Trinity takes the wheel. We've already seen countless excuses for his late outings, vigilante hunts or last-minute forensic work, and we notice that nobody else at Miami Metro ever really pins down Trinity's location. Dexter, on the other hand, stumbles on it a little too easily. It's almost like he's following a roadmap hidden in his own head. So, in this twisted twist, Dexter arrives too late to save Rita because he's actually the one who set it all in motion. Subconsciously, maybe he believes he doesn't deserve the suburban dream, and this is how he sabotages it. That final scene, Dexter in tears, cradling baby Harrison while blood pools on the bathroom floor, isn't just a heartbreak for a love lost. It's the moment he realizes he's the monster, the very threat he's been trying to chase. It's horrifying, tragic, and perfectly fits that kind of mind-bending reveal. Now, think about how we see Trinity's family trembling under his fury, tiptoeing around him, terrified of sparking an outburst. In the real Season 4, that horror drives home how evil Arthur Mitchell is, but in this Fight Club twist, that entire family might only exist inside Dexter's head. Every scene of a cowering wife and terrified children could be Dexter's deepest fear about his own family dynamic if he ever lost control. Imagine Trinity's wife as a stand-in for Rita, the nightmare version of what would happen if she saw Dexter for who he really is. Every violent episode in that household is Dexter's dark imagination, a way of punishing himself with the idea that one day he'll snap, and Rita will look at him with the same terror. Similarly, Trinity's daughter could symbolize Asta, the stepdaughter Dexter never quite knew how to connect with. If Asta learned he was a serial killer, would she recoil in horror? Would she live in constant fear, just like Trinity's daughter? And then there's Trinity's son, mirroring Cody, a boy who looks up to Dexter but might just be scarred forever once he discovers the truth. Dexter's biggest worry is that he'll pass along his demons, shaping Cody into someone haunted by the same kind of darkness. So, rather than Trinity's family being actual victims, it's a twisted reflection of Dexter's guilt and paranoia, reminding him that every day he keeps secrets, he's a ticking time bomb at home. Deborah Morgan grows suspicious of Trinity as she and Lundy investigate the new spate of murders. She meets some obstacles, picks up clues, but interestingly, so much of Deb's progress is either reliant on Dexter's intel or ends up stalling out. That could be because there is no Trinity for her to catch. Dexter is always the source of the next lead or the next piece of Trinity evidence. If you recall, Deb meets various witnesses, but many of them end up dead or vanish long before they can fully confirm Trinity's identity. A neat explanation is that Dexter's alter ego is cleaning up these loose ends. He's the one orchestrating events, ensuring Deb never quite unravels the truth. Special Agent Frank Lundy was the ultimate serial killer hunter, a man who tracked the Bay Harbor Butcher and many others. In the real story, he reappears in Season 4 to chase the Trinity Killer, only to be gunned down partway through. The show implies Christine Hill, Trinity's daughter, shot Lundy to protect her father. But if there is no Christine Hill and no father named Arthur, that means Dexter shot Lundy himself, using some scapegoat story to hide the truth from Deb. Dexter murdering Lundy to protect his identity. By removing Lundy, Dexter kills the one man truly capable of suspecting him. Picture Dexter's life at this point. He's doing the frantic juggling act, late nights with newborn Harrison, keeping Rita happy, clocking in at Miami Metro and squeezing in code-driven kills. Somewhere in that pressure cooker of routine and guilt, a persona starts to emerge, calling itself Arthur Mitchell. This Arthur is everything Dexter imagines an older, respectable family man should be, yet channels the same thirst for violence. So whenever Dexter hunts down Trinity, he's really just stalking himself, propelled by blackouts or fugue states. He believes he's tracking a killer who stages 4 murders mirroring his own traumatic cycle: sister, mother, father, child. But all those harrowing home life scenes with Trinity's terrified wife and kids, they might just be Dexter's nightmares, born from his fear of destroying Rita, Asta, and Cody the way Arthur's family is destroyed in the real show. The supposed cat and mouse chase is an illusion too, because Dexter already knows where Trinity will strike. He's orchestrating the entire thing. In the end, when Rita is found dead, the horror isn't simply that Dexter failed to save her from Arthur, it's that Dexter carried it out himself during a blackout. He wakes up to the carnage, realizing there's no separate Arthur Mitchell at all. It's just him. That revelation would tear Dexter's world apart. The heartbreak you see on his face, holding baby Harrison in that blood-soaked bathroom, transforms into a personal apocalypse. Every rationalization about needing a mentor, every sense of control, gone in an instant. And if Deb ever discovered this twist, she wouldn't just lose faith in her brother, she'd realize he fabricated an entire serial killer to cope with his own crimes. Picture Quinn, Batista, and LaGuerta meticulously unraveling Dexter's evidence logs, noticing he was always at the right place at just the right time. Suddenly, the Bay Harbor Butcher fiasco looks like a warm-up act. With no external Trinity to pin these horrors on, Dexter would have nowhere to hide. He'd stand alone, exposed by his own delusions, forced to confront the cold truth that he can't be both a loving family man and a disciplined killer. Not when his darkest self can conjure such a brutal, imaginary adversary and actually become him. In typical Fight Club tradition, the final confrontation involves the narrator realizing Tyler Durden doesn't exist. If we apply that here, the climactic Dexter Trinity showdown, the one in the Mitchell home, would actually be Dexter thrashing around an empty room, essentially fighting himself. If we imagine watchers like Deb or Quinn observing from a distance, maybe they see Dexter shouting at thin air, smashing up furniture in a mania. He kills Trinity, but since Trinity is him, it's really a moment of self-harm or a symbolic break. Then he drives home, thinking he's triumphed, only to discover the monster inside him has already claimed Rita in the process. The ensuing meltdown is not about a foe outwitting him, but about the realization that Dexter can't outrun his own darkness. Now, picture the season 4 finale pulling the rug out from everyone by revealing that Dexter was Trinity all along. Suddenly, season 5 isn't about Lumen or the aftermath we knew. It's about Dexter facing a total mental collapse. He's desperate to hide this horrifying truth from Deb, while Miami Metro keeps chasing the phantom Trinity Killer. Of course, there's nobody for them to find. Every moment the forensics lab becomes a ticking time bomb, because Dexter is essentially digging through evidence of his own crimes, hoping no one notices his fingerprints all over it. The tension would be off the charts. How long can he juggle a normal life and a non-existent suspect before the department or Deb herself starts asking the wrong questions? It's a drastic shift from the original show, but it speaks to that core idea. Dexter's true nemesis has always been the darkness within. If that darkness can conjure a separate identity capable of murder, then there's no real escape. Only the struggle to keep his fractured soul from devouring what little normalcy he has left. This Fight Club style scenario, where Arthur Mitchell is just Dexter's dark mirror, makes an already haunting season even more disturbing. We see Dexter not only failing to protect his loved ones from an external threat, but becoming that threat himself. Rita's final fate in the bathtub is a twisted reflection of the Bay Harbor Butcher's entire existence. Born in blood, ended in blood, all at Dexter's own hands. So there you have it, a complete reimagining of Season 4 where the Trinity Killer was Dexter's dark mirror the entire time. In a sense, it's the scariest possibility the show never showed us. Anyway, that's our spin on how the Trinity arc could have become a Fight Club style twist. It's definitely not what aired on Showtime, but it's a thought experiment about how thin the line really is between Dexter's Code and total madness. Thanks for sticking around. Please like and subscribe for more What If content.